Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai. So, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashachave Shatarane. So we are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Volume 1, Chapter 1, The Spiritual Masters. And we're starting from text 92. Haramadye mokshavancha kaitava pradana yaha haite Krishna bhakti haya antardana. The foremost process of cheating. Oh yeah, because we were talking about cheating religions, right? Remember we read that long purport? That was
Did we finish that long purport?
We finished the purport. Talking about how Karma Kanda was cheating because you might get some material benefits, but material benefits don't make you happy, and two, you lose them. How just knowledge without connection to Krishna is also doesn't get you anywhere. It just results in maybe impersonalism at best, from which platform you fall down again into material existence. And how yoga, mystic powers obtainable by mystic yoga, are just material and also temporary. And yeah, how the only thing that so the only thing that actually is useful is bhakti. Bhagavat Dharma. Yeah, the system of religion given in the Bhagavatam. Okay, so the foremost process of cheating is to desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Supreme, for this causes the permanent disappearance of loving service to Krishna. So that's even worse. Impersonal liberation is even worse than being in the material world. Because in the material world, you have a material body and you suffer like anything, but at least you have some opportunity to serve Krishna, right? You can still chant Hare Krishna, you can take prasadam, you can do some seva. But if you merge into the Supreme, then you can't do anything. You lost your individuality, you don't have. So Prabhupada says that the desire to merge into the impersonal Brahman is the subtlest type of atheism. As soon as such atheism, disguised in the dress of liberation, is encouraged, one becomes completely unable to traverse the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, there's one verse that one devotee composed that starts off with Kaivalya Narakayate. Means that Kaivalya, or this merging, becoming one with the Lord, is hell. Naraka means hell. Like you may as well just go to hell, because in hell there's no opportunity to serve the Lord, and when you merge and become one with the Lord, there's also no opportunity for service. And so for somebody whose constitutional nature is that we are eternal servants of Krishna, it's like total frustration, right? You can never be yourself. You can never do what you're made to do. You can never actually do what makes you happy.
Like, oh, I'm God, I'm virgin to God.
Mhm.
They kind of like lose their personality, but they're also so focused on their personality in a different way too. They're like, oh, but I'm just gonna become God, and like, I'm gonna have no boundaries and just go back to God and be God. But who are you?
Right.
But who are you? Can you tell me? Oh, I'm just everything, like, but who are you?
Everything and nothing.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's just so um exactly. It's just so contrary to the truth. What were you saying?
Having fun. God.
right? Yeah, and then he's thinking he's God. Right?
Right.
Jai, good conclusion. So, all right, text 93. Prashabdena moksha bishandir api nirasta iti. Go ahead, Pragati.
The prefix pra in the words from Srimad Bhagavatam indicates that the desire for liberation is completely rejected. This is an annotation by Sridhara Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Mm.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
So this is like a footnote that Sridhar Swami put in his commentary. This pra and projita means completely rejected, not just because ujita, where is it? Yeah, ujita means rejected and pra means completely rejected. Okay, text 94. Krishna bhaktir badaka yata shubha shubha karma seha eka jivera agyana tamo dharma. Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, and the website isn't working.
Which
Oh.
website? Oh, database?
Now it will. I think it's the internet, sorry.
Oh, it's just the internet glitch.
It's awful.
Not me.
Okay, I'll read. Text 94. Oh, Arjuna, we're on Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 94, if you want to. Oh, you got it? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
All kinds of activities were detrimental to the destruction of transcendental love and service to Lord Shri Krishna are actions of the darkness and ignorance. Purport. The poetical comparison of Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda to the sun and moon is very significant. The living entities are spiritual sparks, and their constitutional position is to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord in full Krishna consciousness. So-called pious activities and other ritualistic performances, pious or impious, as well as the desire to escape from material existence, are all considered to be coverings of these spiritual sparks. The living entities must get free from these superfluous coverings and fully engage in Krishna consciousness. The purpose of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda is to dispel the darkness of the soul. Before their appearance, all these superfluous activities of the living entities were covering Krishna consciousness. But after the appearance of these two brothers, people's hearts are becoming cleansed, and they are again becoming situated in the real position of Krishna consciousness.
Mhm. Yeah, so the darkness of ignorance is anything that's detrimental to the discharge of transcendental loving service to Krishna. So, yeah, and then Prabhupada is very poetically saying that this is the darkness, and Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda came as the sun and the moon to dispel this darkness, to reveal what is actually favorable for our transcendental loving service to Krishna and what is unfavorable, and to shine a light on the true path. 95. Yanhara prasade tamohaya nasha tamo nasha karikare tatvera prakasha. Do you want to read, Arjuna?
Yes, I can read.
It's just little text 95.
Sorry, just 1 second because my internet's a little slow. Alrighty. Chapter 4, right?
No, chapter 1, text 95.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it right here. By the grace of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, this darkness of ignorance is removed and the truth is brought to light.
Yeah, so twice it says that. It says tamo hayanasha, and then it says tamo nasha kari. So tamo means darkness. Yanhara prasade, by their mercy, this darkness is destroyed. And prakasha, they shed the light on the truth. Having destroyed the darkness, they tatvera prakash, they put light on the truth. Okay, text 96. Tattvavastu Krishna Krishna Bhakti Prema Rupa Nama Sankirtana Sabha Ananda Swarupa. You can almost know what this one means, right? Okay. Divya, would you like to read? Do you know where we are? Adi Lila text 96.
I
Okay.
would love to once. So sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to get there. The absolute truth is Sri Krishna, and loving devotion to Sri Krishna exhibited in pure love is achieved through congregational chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all bliss.
Yeah, so this is a very ecstatic verse. So tattva vastu means, yeah, the absolute truth. Tattva is truth, vastu means substance. That means the true substance, the true reality is Krishna. It's tattva vastu Krishna. And then he says, Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, Prema Rupa, love for Krishna, taking the form of love for Krishna. That love for Krishna manifests through Nam Sankirtan. And that Sabha Ananda Swarupa, that this is the source of all bliss. Very good. Surya Chandra Bahirera Tamase Vinashe Bahirvastu Gata Pata Adise Prakashe. The sun and moon dissipate the darkness of the external world and thus reveal external material objects like pots and plates. When the sun comes up, we can see. Okay, text 98. That's basically what it's saying. Dui Bhai Hridayera Kshali Andakara Dui Bhagavata Sange Karana Sakshatkara. Daniel? 98.
Buttons just gave me trouble. But these two brothers, Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda, dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart, and thus they help one meet the two kinds of Bhagavatas, persons or things in relationship with the personality of Godhead.
Yeah, so in the previous verse, he's saying when the sun comes up in the morning, it lights up the external world, external things. But when Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda appear on this planet, then they light up the inner core of the heart. They shed light on who we actually are, the soul existing in the heart, the super soul in the heart. And then we can meet the Bhagavats. So let's find out what the Bhagavats are. Eka Bhagavata Bada Bhagavata Shastra Ara Bhagavata Bhakta Bhakti Rasapatra. Arjuna, 99.
Okay. One of the Bhagavats is the great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, and the other is a pure devotee absorbed in the mellows of loving devotion.
So there's two Bhagavats. Bhagavats means who's representing Bhagavan, or manifestation of Bhagavan is the Bhagavat. So one way that that the Lord is represented or manifest in this world is through the Srimad Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavat. And the other way is through the person who is living the Bhagavatam and absorbed in loving devotional service as prescribed and exemplified by devotees in the Bhagavatam. So that's the pure devotee. Okay. Dui Bhagavata Dvara Diya Bhakti Rasa Tanhara Hridaye Tanre Preme Hayavasha. You got it, Pragati? 100?
Through the actions of these two Bhagavatas, the Lord instills the mellows of transcendental in the heart of his devotee, comes under the control of the devotee's love.
So yeah, the more we stay in contact with these two Bhagavatas, the Srimad Bhagavatam and the pure devotee of the Lord, the more our love for Krishna awakens and arises and manifests. And when that love arises, then what happens is that Krishna actually comes under the sway of the devotee's love. Krishna's very submissive to love. Eka Adbhuta Samakale Donhara Prakasha Ara adbhuta chitta guhara tama karenasha. Adbhuta means an amazing or astonishing thing. So he's saying Eka adbhuta means one amazing thing is this. And then Ara adbhuta, another amazing thing is that. So let's find out what it is here. Divya, do you want to read 101?
Yeah, thank you. The first wonder is that both brothers appear simultaneously. The other is that they illuminate the innermost depths of the heart.
Nice. Yeah, so usually it's not so often that the sun and moon arise simultaneously. But these two arise simultaneously, so that's pretty amazing. But the most amazing thing is how they can actually, the light shines into the innermost regions of the heart. 102. Ye Chandra Surya Dui Parama Sadaya Jagate Bhagye Gode Kalila. Pragati.
These two, the sun and moon, are very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. Purport. The celebrated ancient capital of the Sena dynasty, which was known as Gauda Desha or Gauda, was situated in what is now the modern district of Malda. Later, this capital was transferred to the ninth or central island on the western side of the Ganges at Navadvipa, which is now known as Mayapur, and was then called Gaudapura. Lord Chaitanya appeared there, and Lord Nityananda came there and joined him from the district of Birbhum. They appeared on the horizon of Gaudadesha to spread the signs of Krishna consciousness, and it is predicted that as the sun and moon gradually move west, the movement they began 500 years ago will come to the western civilizations by their mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu drive away the 5 kinds of ignorance of the conditioned soul. In the Mahabharata Udyog Parva, 43rd chapter, these 5 kinds of ignorance are described. They are: first, accepting the body to be the self; second, making material sense gratification one's standard of enjoyment; third, being anxious due to material identification; fourth, lamenting; and fifth, thinking that there is anything beyond the absolute truth. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya eradicate these 5 kinds of ignorance. Whatever one sees or otherwise experiences, one should know to be simply an exhibition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energy. Everything is a manifestation of Krishna.
Well, that's laid out very clearly, right? The five kinds of ignorance. So accepting the body to be the self, that means that's counteracted by knowing the soul to be the self. And the body is just a covering of the self. Making material sense gratification one's standard of enjoyment, that's counteracted by making, getting the higher taste in Krishna consciousness. And knowing that when Krishna is happy, then only the soul actually enjoys. And then being anxious due to material identification, counteracted by being peaceful, knowing that I'm an eternal soul, that I'm not in this body. Lamenting is counteracted by understanding the absolute nature of things, how Krishna is the supreme controller and everything, and he's our best friend. So everything that happens is happening somehow for our benefit. 5 is thinking that there's anything beyond the absolute truth. Yeah, so that means understanding what actually the absolute truth means, is that all encompassing, one without a second, right? Okay, good. 103. Sedui Prabhura Kari Charana Vandana Yanhaite Vignanasha Abhishta Purana. Daniel?
Let us therefore worship the holy feet of these 2 lords, thus one can be rid of all difficulties on the path of self-realization.
So 2 things here. Vignanasha means that all the obstacles are destroyed, and Abhishta Purana means that all the desires are fulfilled. When we worship the holy feet, the Charana Vandana means offering our obeisances to the lotus feet of these Dui Prabhus, 2 Prabhus, 2 lords. Okay, 104. Edui shloke kaila mangala vandana. Tritiya shlokera arta shuna sarvajana. Arjuna.
I have invoked the benediction of the Lord with these two verses, texts 1 and 2 of this chapter. Now please hear attentively the purport of the third verse.
Okay, third verse. Let's flip back and see what the third verse is. This is gonna find Adi Lila text 3 says, oh, this is talking about how Krishna is the absolute truth. Effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the super soul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Caitanya is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So now he's going to describe this. Vaktavya bahulya granta vistare radhare vistare navarni sarartha kahi alpakshare. Divya? 105.
Thank you. I purposely avoid extensive description for fear of increasing the bulk of this book. I shall describe the essence as concisely as possible.
Okay, so he's giving us a little warning that this is a complicated topic, which deserves a very elaborate explanation, and he's going to try to keep it as brief as possible because we're talking about the absolute truth. So there's a lot to say because that encompasses everything, right? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and that all those things together is the absolute truth, and that's Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya is the same. Okay, so text 106. Mitam cha saram cha vacho hi vagmita iti. Essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. Bhakti, that's a very eloquent sentence, right? So if anyone wants to be eloquent, then essential truth spoken concisely, right? Okay, so he's telling us here that I'm going to try to be eloquent. I'm going to try to give you just the essence and as concisely as possible, according to this proverb. Iti means like, thus, or it is said. Iti actually, yeah, it translates as thus in a literal sense, but Hiranand Maharaj says that in Sanskrit, the word iti, it means quotation marks. You see how this is in quotation marks? That's what iti means. Iti means he's quoting a proverb, like a well-known proverb. He's not just saying this, he's quoting, as it is said, essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. Okay. Shunile kandive chittera agyanadi dosha Krishna gadha prema habe paive santosha. Pragati.
Simply hearing submissively will free one's heart from all the faults of ignorance, and thus one will achieve deep love for Krishna. This is the path of peace.
Okay, so let's listen very submissively because by doing so, our hearts will be free from all the faults of ignorance and we'll achieve deep love for Krishna. Okay, text 108 and 109. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatva Tanra Bhakta Bhakti Nama Prema Rasa Tattva Bhina Bhina Liki Yachi Kariya Vichara Shunile Janive Sabha Vastu Tattva Sara. What an ecstatic verse, right? Okay, Daniel.
If one patiently hears about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devotees, devotional activities, names, and fame, along with the mellows of their transcendental loving exchange, one will learn the essence of the absolute truth. Therefore, I have described these in Chaitanya with logic and discrimination.
Okay. And then this is the verse that ends every chapter of Caitanya Charitamrita. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padeyara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadasa. praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. So this is he ends by praying for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, who are his mentors and gurus, and praying for their mercy so that he can continue this work.
Is that also at the beginning or is that different?
Different. He probably says something similar at the beginning, but he ends every single chapter like this. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, first chapter describing the spiritual master.
Haribo.
No, only chapter
Chapter
1. We got a long way to go in this Adi Lila. Okay, so here we go. Text. Chapter 2, Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this chapter is all going to be about Lord Chaitanya, who he is in Tattva. So, Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande, Balopi Yad Anugrahat, Tarenana Matagraha, Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. Would you like to read, Arjuna?
Yes, I can read. I offer my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusions about the ultimate truth, which is full of crocodiles of various theories.
Go
It's
ahead,
not
read the
loading.
purport. Oh,
It's not loading. Oh, here it is.
the database
Purport
seems
by-
slow today.
Yeah. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an inexperienced boy with no educational culture can be saved from the ocean of nations, which is full of various types of philosophical doctrines that are like dangerous aquatic animals. The philosophy of the Buddha and argumentative presentations of Gyanis, the yoga systems of Patanjali and Gautam, and the systems of philosophers like Kanada, Kapila, and Dattatreya are dangerous creatures in the ocean of nations. By the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can have real understanding of the essence of knowledge by avoiding the sectarian views and accepting the lotus feet of Krishna as the ultimate goal of life. Let us all worship Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his gracious mercy to the conditioned souls.
Jai. Can you just imagine Srila Prabhupada dictating these purports and ending the purport with, let us all worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his gracious mercy to the conditioned souls. So ecstatic. Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that he makes the philosophy of Krishna consciousness so accessible, so easy to understand, that even an ignorant child can cross over the ocean of conclusive truths. That there are so many, philosophies out there, so many different theories and, whatever you call it, just different ideas about what is spiritual life and what the goal of these coming from the Vedic tradition even. And he's saying that these are dangerous creatures. We're like trying to cross the ocean to find the truth. And on the way, there are these dangerous creatures that can eat us alive, that can pull us down so that we never actually reach the truth. But Lord Chaitanya made it so easy that we can cross over this ocean very quickly and be protected from these crocodiles in the ocean.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we tell newcomers that it's very translatable to their religion? Say if somebody comes in and is Christian, like I've heard people say, maybe like past people here, I don't know, but I said things like, oh yeah, you could chant Jesus if you want, but this is just another mantra that we do. Or like you could, like it's basically just like your religion is good and this is good and this is just how we do this. If that makes sense. Like it's kind of like the opposite of what this is saying.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, because the principle is that we should chant the holy names of God, right? So and sometimes when we present Krishna consciousness to people from other religions, then, unless we see that they're very open to our religion, then we just kind of give them sort of a bridge message, right? So you say that, yeah, chanting the name of God is a very powerful, the most powerful spiritual practice in this age. And even in the Bible, it says, whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So we should chant. And that's why Hare Krishnas, we chant the Maha Mantra, which is composed of 3 different names of God and God's energy. And so, yeah, you're a Christian. So if you don't connect with Hare Krishna and Rama as the holy names of God, then you can chant Jesus, or if you're a Muslim, you can chant Allah as they do. And so like that, we just encourage them to follow the principle. And then they gradually get purified by being God conscious in whatever way they understand God to be, in whatever way they feel comfortable approaching him. And then, when they're ready, then they can come to a higher level of knowledge about
Why are they dangerous?
I had a thought.
Go ahead, but just before that, he's not saying that like, Christians and whatnot are dangerous. See, all of these are kind of Buddha was preaching atheism. Patanjali was, Patanjali wasn't bad, just that most of his teachings are emphasizing mystic powers as the goal of life. And Kapila was an atheist, and yeah, so these are like these are crocodiles. So it's not that, there's the ocean, and in the ocean there are many aquatic beings, and some of them are dangerous and some of them aren't. Right. So Prabhupada's listing some of the dangerous ones, the ones that can bite you and, stop your progress if you get too close to them. But then there are other things. There's like whales and dolphins and plankton and, different fish there that are swimming around that won't bother you. So there are other religions also that they're practicing their faiths, and they're not necessarily going to bother you. They're not harmful. They're just doing their thing.
Oh, so it's not like the other, the God are full or dangerous, but so much so the theories that.
The philosophy. Yeah. Any name of God that's actually a bona fide name of God is good, is glorious, is a holy name that we can chant, right? But when he's listing these names here, these are not names of God. These are names of like philosophers who have their theories of spiritual life that are not quite leading people to the absolute truth. They tend to distract people from the absolute truth. Okay, sorry, Drishta?
I was gonna say just that we don't say like, all paths are like Christianity is theistic. Their goal is love of God. And the details might get skewed, but it is bhakti. What they're doing is bhakti. So these other theistic religions, the goal is bhakti, but these philosophers, Prabhupada's, or not Prabhupada, but we were just talking about.
Prabhupada names them in the purport.
Oh, okay. They are aiming you away from God. They're either saying you are God, they're saying the goal of life is sense gratification, or they're saying, So yeah, we don't say that to everyone. We say it to the theist, like, oh, you're already connecting with God. That's good. We're not gonna discourage you from connecting to God in the way that you like to connect to God every way. But if someone is like a atheistic, or we're not gonna say, oh yeah, just chant, science, and you'll be enlightened.
Okay, so text 2. Now there's a song that starts off very similar to Sat Goswami Astakam, but it's different. So Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Patojani Brajita Sadbhakta Vali Hamsa Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karnanandikaladvanir Vahatume Jiva Maru Prangane Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tavalasa Lila Shuddha Swaduni. Yeah. Okay, wait, who just read? That was Arjuna. Okay, Divya. Yeah, Divya, would you like to read this one?
Thank you. O my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The rivers flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. Our tongues always engage in vibrating, useless sounds that do not help us realize transcendental peace. The tongue is compared to a desert because the desert needs a constant supply of refreshing water to make it fertile and fruitful. Water is the substance most needed in the desert. The transient pleasure derived from mundane topics of art, culture, politics, sociology, dry philosophy, poetry, and so on is compared to a mere drop of water because although such topics have a qualitative feature of transcendental pleasure, they are saturated with the modes of material nature. Therefore, neither collectively nor individually can they satisfy the vast requirements of the desert-like tongue. Despite crying in various conferences, therefore, the desert-like tongue continues to be parched. For this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who are compared to swans swimming around the beautiful lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or bees humming around his lotus feet in transcendental pleasure, searching for honey. The dryness of material happiness cannot be moistened by so-called philosophers who cry for Brahman liberation and similar dry speculative objects. The urge of the soul proper is different. The soul can be solaced only by the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his many bona fide devotees who never leave the lotus feet of the Lord to become imitation Mahaprabhus, but all cling to his lotus feet like bees that never leave a honey-soaked lotus flower. Lord Chaitanya's movement of Krishna consciousness is full of dancing and singing about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. It is compared herein to the pure waters of the Ganges, which are full of lotus flowers. The enjoyers of these lotus flowers are the pure devotees, who are like bees and swans. They chant like the flowing of the Ganges, the river of the celestial kingdom. The author desires such sweetly flowing waves to cover his tongue. He humbly compares himself to materialistic persons who always engage in dry talk, from which they derive no satisfaction. If they were to use their dry tongues to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as exemplified by Lord Chaitanya, they would taste sweet nectar and enjoy life.
Haribo. This verse is so poetic, right? The nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities. May the kirtan, basically, flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. In this water, this Ganges water, are lotus flowers of singing and dancing and chanting. And the devotees who are in that water, singing, dancing, and chanting, are like the swans, ducks, and bees. They don't go anywhere else. They just stay like the bees around the honey-soaked lotus flower. Okay. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. So that's how this Chaitanya Charitamrita goes. That usually, like, the first verse is some kind of like offering of obeisances. The second verse is something like the subject matter of the chapter. And then the third verse is some variation of Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. And then he gets into the subject matter of the chapter. Okay. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Sri Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra and all glories to the devotees of Lord Gauranga. Tritiya Shlokera Artha Kari Vivarana Vastu Nirdesha Rupa Mangala Charana. Pragati? Huh? You don't have it?
No.
Let me describe the meaning of the third verse of the first 14. It is an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. All right, let's chant this auspicious vibration. It's probably like this. Yad Advait. Oh, I think we can do Sat Goswami Astika. Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishadi Tad Apya. No, that's not going to work. Yad Advait. We did this before. Okay, this the first verse of Bhagavatam is Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapana. Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishadi Tad Apyasya Tanubha. Ya Atmantar Yami Purusha Iti Sosyam Shavi Bhava. Shad Aishvaryai Purnoya Iha Bhagavan Sa Swayam Ayam. Na Chaitanyat Krishnaj Jagati Paratattvam Param Iha. Okay, do you have it? Go ahead then.
What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth other than or equal. Purport. The compilers of the Upanishads speak very highly of the impersonal Brahman. The Upanishads, which are considered the most elevated portion of the Vedic literatures, are meant for persons who desire to get free from material association and who therefore approach a bona fide spiritual master for enlightenment. The prefix
Upa.
upa indicates that one must receive knowledge about the absolute truth from a spiritual master. One who has faith in his spiritual master actually receives transcendental instruction, and as his attachment for material life slackens, he is able to advance on the spiritual path. Knowledge of the transcendental science of the Upanishads can free one from the entanglement of existence in the material world. And when thus liberated, one can be elevated to the spiritual kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by advancement in spiritual life. The beginning of spiritual enlightenment is realization of impersonal Brahman. Such realization is effected by gradual negation of material variegatedness. Impersonal Brahman realization is this partial, distant experience of the absolute truth that one achieves through the rational approach. It is compared to once seeing a hill from a distance and taking it to be a smoky cloud. A hill is not a smoky cloud, but it appears to be one from a distance because of our imperfect vision. In imperfect or smoky realization of the absolute truth, spiritual variegatedness is conspicuous by its absence. This experience is therefore called Advaita Vada, or realization of the oneness of the Absolute. The impersonal, glowing effulgence of Brahman consists only of the personal bodily rays of the Supreme Godhead, Sri Krishna. Since Sri Gaur Sundara, since Sri Gaur Sundar or Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is identical with Sri Krishna himself, the Brahman effulgence consists of the rays of his transcendental body.
All right, just pause there. So yeah, so this verse is saying that what the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. So this first 3 paragraphs of the purport, Prabhupada is focusing on the impersonal Brahman. And he's saying that this realization, it's the first stage of God realization, that the all-pervasive energy, the divine light. But Prabhupada says that this impersonal Brahman realization is a partial and distant experience of the absolute truth. So it's a way of, when you have this realization, it's like, okay, you know something about God, but you know, you're very distant from God. You're still very far away from Krishna, you know, when this is all you know about him. And he says it's like when you're very far away from a mountain, the mountain's way up in the distance and you're driving towards the mountain, but it's really far. You see something there, some, you know, abstract, you know, form on the horizon, and it looks like a cloud. You don't even know that it's a mountain, right? So unless you know that there's a mountain there, you think, oh, that's an interesting looking, you know, dark cloud on the lying low on the horizon. And then, you know, somebody who knows will be like, actually, that's a hill. It looks like a cloud, but it's a hill. So yeah, so when we're very distant from Krishna, then we can't see him. You know, we can't see his beautiful form. All we can see is the light that's emanating from his beautiful form. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, well, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying that that light, the effulgence, the Brahman effulgence, is coming from Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. So this is one understanding of Lord Chaitanya, is that the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of his body. But that's the
I
most
like this.
the most distant realization of Lord Chaitanya.
That makes so much sense because spiritual books are like love and light. We're all just light. And it's like,
Yeah.
because you can't see this.
Right.
It's just light. So light, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder what they're talking about.
It's kind of like if you're in a room, like if you're in jail and you just have one like high square window up there and the light is coming through, but you can't see the actual sun because the sun is not lined up with your window, right? But you just see that light has entered the room and you're like, oh, the light, this is what the sun is. It's just this light that came into my room now in the morning. So it's like, actually, no, there's a sun out there that's the source of the light that's different from the light. I mean, this is also sunlight, but it's not exactly the same as the sun, which is a globe, you know? Okay, so now he's going to talk about the super soul, because the next thing is that the super soul is but his localized plenary portion. So would you like to read a little bit, Daniel? Similarly, the super soul.
The Yami, the super soul, and everyone's heart is the controller of all living entities. Oh wait, can everyone hear me over there?
I don't know. Can you guys hear Daniel read? Divya and Arjuna?
Kind of, it goes in and out a little, but I'm reading along.
Wait,
He's gonna come closer. Whoops.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, similarly, the super, is that better?
Is that better?
Similarly, the super soul, which is called the Paramatma, the plenary representation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Antaryami, the super soul in everyone's heart, is the controller of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, wherein Lord Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hirdi Sanai Vista. I am situated in everyone's heart. The Bhagavad Gita 5:29 also states, Bhaktaram
Yagya.
Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheswaram, indicating that the Supreme Lord acting in his expansion as the super soul is the proprietor of everything. Similarly, the Brahma Samhita 5:35 states, and Dandarasta Paramanu
Chayantara.
The Lord is present everywhere within the heart of every living entity, within each and every atom as well. Thus, by this super soul feature, the Lord is all pervading.
Go ahead.
Furthermore, Lord Chaitanya is also the master of all wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, because he is Sri Krishna himself. He is described as Purna, or complete, in the feature of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord is an ideal renouncer, just as Sri Rama was an ideal king. Lord Chaitanya accepted the order of sannyas and exemplified exceedingly wonderful principles in his own life. No one can compare to him in the order of sannyas. Although in Kali Yuga, acceptance of the sannyas order is generally forbidden, Lord Chaitanya accepted it because he is complete in renunciation. Others cannot imitate him, but can only follow in his footsteps as far as possible. Those who are unfit for this order of life are strictly forbidden by the injunctions of the Shastras to accept it. Lord Chaitanya, however, is complete in renunciation as well as all other opulences. He is therefore the highest principle of the absolute truth.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, so here, first paragraph is making the point that the Paramatma is just an expansion of Lord Chaitanya, this Paramatma who is the super soul in everyone's heart, who is supervising, is the overseer of everyone, the proprietor of everything, who is everywhere, even in every atom. That's just a partial manifestation of Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya is also Bhagavan, the possessor of all the six opulences, and Prabhupada stresses especially renunciation, that he took sannyas. So Lord Chaitanya's renunciation is much more apparent than Krishna's renunciation. Krishna is also very renounced, but in his own way, in a way that's not so obvious. But Lord Chaitanya is very, like, anybody can see that Lord Chaitanya is very, very renounced. Okay,
Your sannyasi been
yeah,
candy and Kali Yuga?
yeah. I mean, generally, it's not, yeah, Prabhupada says generally forbidden. And then another place Prabhupada explains that only in the bhakti tradition can someone take sannyas, because the process of bhakti is so powerful, and there's so much of Krishna's mercy and Krishna's help, that only with Krishna's help can anyone maintain sannyas vows.
Oh, there's sannyas in like other traditions.
Yeah, so if someone from another tradition, like a karma yoga tradition or a jnana yoga tradition or an impersonalist or a mayavadi takes sannyas, it ends up being problematic in this age, because they don't have the shelter of Krishna. They basically reject Krishna. You know, like mayavadis, they say that Krishna is an ordinary person and they think that they're God, and then they take sannyas and then they end up just like, you know, having so many affairs with different women and things like that, because they think they're the all-powerful and they can do whatever they want. So, but yeah, because that Mayavad sannyasis, they think that when they take sannyas, they become God. So in Kali Yuga, that's just so crazy, and so it has to be forbidden. But in Bhakti, when someone takes sannyas, they definitely don't think they became God. They become, you know, the servant. They know that they remain the servant of God, and that just now their service is to devote themselves to a life of, you know, celibacy and simplicity and renunciation and traveling all over the world and spreading Krishna consciousness. So because they're doing it for Krishna and being totally dependent on Krishna, then Krishna helps them maintain their vows. But even then, it's difficult.
Are there still things in place to like keep abuse from happening, just in case?
Yeah, I mean, now we have in ISKCON, at least, I don't know about other groups, but in ISKCON we have the sannyas ministry, and we have like Guru Services Committee, and then one thing is just that it's like it's a multi-guru society, multi-sannyasi society. So like traditionally, like one sannyasi, he would have his own like ashram, his own following, and he would be like the key charismatic leader, the key guru there. And so there weren't a lot of checks and balances. But in ISKCON, there are many sannyasis. And so, you know, they talk to each other, and they, you know, they check up on each other, and it's not that one sannyasi is the center of everything, you know. So if a sannyasi is seen to be doing something questionable, then ISKCON nowadays is such an environment that the question will be raised, right? So, yeah, it's a little safer for the sannyasi, and safer for others who could potentially be exploited by someone with that level of leadership. Okay. Arjuna, would you like to read? We'll finish this purport. We are on by an analytical study of the truth. Like halfway through the purport. Are you there? How about Divya? Are you there at the place?
I can read, yeah.
Okay,
By an
please.
Thank you. By an analytical study of the truth of Lord Chaitanya, one will find that he is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. No one is greater than or equal or even equal to him. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Mata parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Thus, it is here confirmed that there is no truth higher than Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The impersonal Brahman is the goal of those who cultivate the study of books of transcendental knowledge, and the supersoul is the goal of those who perform the yoga practices. One who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead surpasses realization of both Brahman and Paramatma, because Bhagavan is the ultimate platform of absolute knowledge. The Personality of Godhead is the complete form of Satchit Ananda, full life, knowledge, and bliss. By realization of the Sat portion of the complete whole, unlimited existence, one realizes the impersonal Brahman aspect of the Lord. By realization of the Chit portion of the complete whole, unlimited knowledge, one can realize the localized aspect of the Lord, the Paramatma. But neither of these partial realizations of the complete whole can help one realize Ananda, or complete bliss. Without such realization of Ananda, knowledge of the absolute truth is incomplete. This verse of the Caitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is confirmed by a parallel statement in the Tattva Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. In the 8th part of the Tattva Sandarbha, it is said that the absolute truth is sometimes approached as impersonal Brahman, which, although spiritual, is not a partial representation of the absolute truth. Narayan, the predominating deity in Vaikuntha, is to be known as an expansion of Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the object of the transcendental love of all living entities.
Yeah, so Sat Chit Ananda, this is the nature of the Lord, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So he says that when we realize the impersonal Brahman, we're realizing the Sat feature, that he's eternal, right? That the Lord is eternal, and yeah. And then when we realize the super soul, we realize the Chit feature, the knowledge feature, because the Lord is in everyone's heart. He knows everything. He's in every atom. He's, all pervasive and all conscious, omniscient. But only when we realize Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is there Ananda, which is bliss, the happiness, because happiness comes from loving exchanges, and loving exchanges mean there must be a person who can purely and fully love. And that is our Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's same as Krishna. Okay. So we shall end there. Thank you very much. Oh, let's see what's that on Zoom. Oh, Daily Dose is back. Welcome back, Daily Dose in One Sentence. I haven't seen you for a while. All right. And we have Jai Shri Ram, good old faithful attendee. Nice to see you all. And hope to see you tomorrow. Learning about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki